The Prophet asked, when are you thrown to the lowest pit of hell? Shaitan, the cursed one, when your followers perform good deeds towards their parents or relatives. The Prophet said, I heard that sometimes you feel a great pain in your whole body. Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, when your followers give charity without showing off. The Prophet asked, I heard that sometimes you feel as if someone is whipping you. Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, when your follower sees a non-mahram, a girl with whom a man can marry, woman outside your bloodline, and then he immediately casts his eyes down. The Prophet asked, whom do you like the best among my followers? Shaitan, the cursed one, that person who does business by deceiving people. The Prophet asked, when do you get hurt the most? Shaitan, the cursed one, when your followers remember Allah day and night. The Prophet asked, whom do you fear the most? Shaitan, the cursed one, I fear those men who recite prayers in the first row of congregation, Jama at. The Prophet asked, which people among my followers have you chosen to be your permanent soldiers? Shaitan, the cursed one, any of your followers who use any type of intoxicating beverages. The Prophet asked, which person makes you laugh? Shaitan, the cursed one, that person who encourages others to commit sins. The Prophet asked, with whom do you speak the most? Shaitan, the cursed one, a person who lies the most. The Prophet asked, who is the most pleasing to you? Shaitan, the cursed one, any man who divorces an innocent woman. The Prophet asked, do you have any more friends? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, that person who delays in offering his obligatory prayers. The Prophet asked, Shaitan, where do you stay the most? Shaitan, the cursed one, a place where non-mahram, possible to marry or outside bloodline, men and women get together without any separation or observing hijab, that is my place of stay. The Prophet asked, where do you meet people? Shaitan, the cursed one, bazaars, shopping malls, I try to make buyers deceive sellers and sellers deceive buyers. I also encourage men to do their business with women and women to do their business with men. I persuade people to all types of sins in bazaars. The Prophet asked, what do you read? Shaitan, the cursed one, I read songs. The Prophet asked, what is your way of calling people towards committing sins? Shaitan, the cursed one, music and songs. Whenever your followers listen to music they come toward me. The Prophet asked, what is your book? Shaitan, the cursed one, playing cards are my book. The Prophet asked, who is your helper? Shaitan, the cursed one, any person who contributes to the defeat of your Muslims. The Prophet asked, what do you eat? Shaitan, the cursed one, I eat everything that is obtained by forbidden earnings or by not paying comes. The Prophet asked, what do you drink? Shaitan, the cursed one, I drink alcohol. The Prophet asked, what is your dessert? Shaitan, the cursed one, backbiting. The Prophet asked, do you have any desires? Shaitan, the cursed one, every false commitment is my desire. The Prophet asked, are you thankful for anything? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, I am thankful to those men and women who indulge in sins after asking Allah for forgiveness. The Prophet asked, do you relax? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, when your followers miss Fajr, morning prayers. The Prophet asked, do you get any rewards from my followers? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, whenever your followers break their relationships with relatives or neighbors. The Prophet asked, do you have any companions? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, that person who has sex with his wife without saying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and that person whose earnings are through un-Islamic means. The Prophet asked, what deed of my follower makes you angry? Shaitan, the cursed one, when a mother tries to make her son or daughter fast or offer prayers. The Prophet asked, are there any men among my followers whom you cannot possibly misguide? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, any man who does not intentionally look at a non-mahram. The Prophet asked, are there any women among my followers whom you can't misguide? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes, that woman who observes hijab and who listens to her husband, who must be just to her, of course. The Prophet asked, Shaitan, out of the men and women you have described, do you have any special men and women that you love the most? Shaitan, the cursed one, yes. Among women I love those women who do not observe hijab. And among men, those who are proud and those who are sinful ulama, religious scholars. The Prophet asked, which men do you hate the most? Shaitan, the cursed one, 4 men. The first are humble rich men. The second are ulama who practice what they preach. The third are young men who ask for forgiveness. And the fourth are old men who fear Allah. The Prophet asked, "Are you alone or do you have any companions?" Shaitan, the cursed one. Yes, I have some companions who gather at the mosques in order to deceive its visitors. My companions make the visitors talk about things that give them bad deeds instead of good deeds. Other companions make your wise followers think of their bad deeds as few and their good deeds as many. And other companions, when they see someone giving money in charity or helping someone for the sake of Allah, they tempt that person to tell others of his charity and good deeds. Then Shaitan, the cursed one said, "O Prophet of Allah, I have talked to you in much detail. I would like to tell you that you are working towards taking people to heaven and I am working towards taking people to hell." After this, Shaitan, the cursed one gave salams to our beloved Prophet peace be upon him and disappeared.